central part of the American experience. In the fall, Americans tune in to watch their favorite sports, be it the NFL, MLB, NHL, and even the NBA.
Yep.
Every 2 years, we come together as a nation to support Team USA in the Winter or Summer Olympics. We even sometimes come together to watch the United States compete in World Cup play. It's happened.
Soccer.
From the yellow ribbon tied around the Superdome during Super Bowl 15 to remember hostages taken in Iran, to chants of USA, USA, when a crowd in Philadelphia learned about the death of Osama bin Laden.
Oh, she took the words out of my mouth. I was literally going to say, I bet you that moment's going to be in the video somewhere. And then she said it.
Yeah.
Because we reacted to that. Check it out, guys, if you haven't.
American sports fans and players wear their American hearts on their sleeves. So let's check out the top 10 most patriotic moments in sports history.
Let's see.
Number 10. Team USA carries the World Trade Center flag to the Olympics.
Nice.
Rarely does a flag presentation at the Olympic Games happen to a quiet crowd. But as 8 members of Team USA, flanked by members of the New York Police Department and New York Fire Department, marched the flag of the host country into the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, you could hear a pin drop. The flag they carried was found in the rubble of Ground Zero and had flown atop the World Trade Center in New York when the buildings were attacked on September 11th, 2001. That flag was under the debris for 3 days before being found and given to the National Guard. It took some time to convince the International Olympic Committee, who is responsible for keeping politics out of the Games, to approve the display of the torn and tattered banner. But on opening night, the World Trade Center's old glory flew proudly once more.
That's such a nice way to start off, isn't it? That's a big moment, I would say.
Number 9. Ruland Gardner defeats the undefeated. For a decade, Alexander Kellin was the world's dominant super heavyweight wrestler. By the time the 2000 Olympics rolled around, Kellin, aka the Russian Bear, aka Alexander the Great, hadn't been defeated in a match since Russia was still called the Soviet Union. And even then, that was his only loss. Until he faced off with a dairy farmer from Wyoming.
Dairy farmer,
In 6 years, Kellin hadn't even given up a single point to an opponent. His American opponent, Ruland Gardner, hadn't placed higher than 5th in the world up until this point, and even lost to Kellin 5-0 before. But Kellin lost his grip and a point to Gardner in the second period.
He's wrestling cows with the dairy. He's like, come on, moo cow, I'm going to wrestle you today and we're going to practice.
Right,
Give me
come
the
on,
arm lock.
dear lady, let's play some wrestling.
Yeah, no. These Russians are like mad. We know all about Khabib. They wrestle bears from kids and stuff. That's why that guy was undefeated, man.
Yeah. Number 8. Mary Lou Retton wins a gymnastic first. A little girl from West Virginia dealt a stunning blow to the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War when Mary Lou Retton brought home Olympic gold in 1984. Before Retton, Team USA was never able to wrest Olympic gold from the Eastern Europe in the individual all-around gymnastics event. She came into the event trailing Romania's Ekaterina Szabo, and she even had undergone a knee operation just 5 weeks before competing.
Oh, that's nuts.
In
What the
Retton's
hell?
own words, she believes her performance showed that American-born and trained athletes can do anything,
Knee
no matter
surgery.
what the odds are.
And you're doing that. Whew.
1999 Women's World Cup Final. The 1999 Women's World Cup came down to a shootout tiebreaker against the Chinese. With the score tied 0-0 in extra time, the US team would end up winning based on penalties. It wasn't so much the gameplay that mattered, it was the draw. With 90,000 spectators, it was the largest turnout for a women's sporting event ever. The lasting image of the US win would be Brandi Chastain's post-penalty kick celebration of the victory, where she fell to her knees and took off her jersey, revealing the sports bra seen around the world. That image became one of Sports Illustrated's most iconic covers ever.
Not gonna lie, with female or woman soccer, or we call it football, you know, women players complain that the pay doesn't match men's. But the thing is, it's not about, you know, equality. It's not that they don't want to pay them more. It's that they don't fill up stadiums. Like, if you look at professional women football teams in the UK, honestly, the stadiums are like, they're barely packed. But if you look at on a week-on-week basis, men's football, it is rammed every week.
Well.
Every single week to sold out every week without fail. Yeah. Let alone like World Cups and stuff. Like women's team, they don't, like the country, do you know what I mean? So that's the problem. But to see a stadium that filled, that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about the US. They are very patriotic. and they love their country. So if their country got a chance to shine, they don't care if you're a man, they don't care if you're a woman.
They'll be there to support
They're going to
you.
be there. And that stadium was rammed. I've not seen a stadium that busy in the UK.
Number 6. Joe Louis knocks out a Nazi.
Joe Louis. Nazi,
In 1938, Hitler was still touting the Germans as a master race, while German athletes competed the world over for top honors. On June 22nd, Max Schmeling met American champion, the Brown Bomber Joe Louis. The first time the two met in 1936, Schmeling took advantage of a moment when Louis dropped his left hand after a jab, allowing Schmeling to give Louis his first loss in the 12th round of that fight. That would not happen again. With the world listening via radio and more than 70,000 watching in Yankee Stadium, Louis unloaded on Schmeling, knocking him down 3 times in just 2 minutes. Schmeling was only able to throw
pissed.
2 punches in the whole 1-round match.
Take that,
He
Schmeling
came for
fire.
revenge and
The
redemption.
champ lights the Olympic torch.
Oh.
Lighting the Olympic flame at the end of the torch relay is an honor reserved for a legendary Olympic athlete from the host country. Does it get more legendary than the greatest Muhammad Ali?
Here we go.
Except in 1996, the identity of the one who would light the flame was a close-kept secret. Even swimmer Janet Evans, who was handing the torch off, didn't know to whom she was handing it. Ali was stricken with Parkinson's disease and had long since retired by this point. When Ali emerged to take the Olympic torch and light the flame, the sound in Atlanta was less a roar of applause and more of the collective gasp of elated surprise as the once great boxer, shaking, lit the torch.
We love Muhammad Ali. Absolute legend. So that's
We've
nice
reacted
to
to him
see.
as well.
Yeah, he's a goat, man.
Yeah.
He's a goat.
Number 4. Rick Monday saves the flag. Remember the MLB outfielder Rick Monday? He might be before most of our audience's time, but Monday was with the Los Angeles Dodgers' 1981 World Series winning team. Before that, he was the top prospect in the 1965 Major League Baseball draft. Somewhere in between, he saved Old Glory from public degradation. In 1976, Monday was with the Chicago Cubs, visiting the Dodgers. With Monday in center field during the 4th inning, 2 protesters jumped the outfield fence and tried to burn a flag on live television.
No way.
Monday,
Woohoo.
seeing what was about to transpire, ran over
Good
and
shit.
snatched the lighter fluid-soaked flag. The protesters were arrested, and Monday was able to keep the flag.
We know how serious it is in the US to even mess with a flag. You're not even allowed to drop the flag on the floor. These are put on the floor and try to burn it.
Oh my god.
That's jail time right
Yeah.
there.
Ever since that day,
They're
Monday
lucky they didn't get
used
shot.
the actual flag to raise money for military families.
Nice.
Number 3, the president's post-9/11 opening pitch. It might be hard to imagine the leader of the free world facing a new global war on terrorism, being psyched out by throwing the first pitch in Yankee Stadium. But in his own words, he absolutely was. Thousands of New Yorkers came to the stadium to watch President George W. Bush throw the pitch to open Game 3 of the 2001 World Series. It was also just weeks after 9/11. He didn't want Americans to think the president was incapable of finding the plate. But as he practiced, Yankee Derek Jeter told him that he needed to both throw from the mound and not in front as originally planned, and not bounce it. They'll boo you, he told the president. Bush, shaken but loose,
Pressure.
walked onto the field and threw a strike to an eruption of applause.
Yeah, they're like, if that bounced, they'll be like, that ain't our president. They'll be so upset about it.
Make us proud, sir.
Boo.
Make us
That-
proud.
He done a good throw. It's good.
Number 2, the Buckeye bullet burns Hitler.
Buckeye.
Before he ever arrived in Berlin for the 1936
Look at him run,
Olympic
oh my
He's
God.
off.
Jesse Owens had already set 3 world records and tied another. At Ohio State, he won 8 individual NCAA championships, which was a record in its own right. When he arrived in Berlin, he knew Nazi Germany was using the games as a showcase for its racial policies, but
God.
he was determined to compete anyway. Owens went on to win 4 gold medals in 1936,
Wow.
an unrivaled achievement until some 50 years later when Carl Lewis did the same in 1984. When Owens won gold in the long jump, the Olympic Committee told Hitler he had to greet all the winners or none at all. Hitler opted for none.
No, of course
As
he
Owens
did.
won other events, Hitler would leave early. Nazi minister Albert Speer would later write that Hitler was, quote,
That's how he is.
highly annoyed by the series of triumphs by the marvelous colored American runner,
Oh,
Jesse
good for them.
Owens.
They proved the
End
point.
Number 1, The Miracle on Ice.
I heard about this.
Hockey.
Would you bet money on a bunch of college amateurs taking on the world's greatest hockey team in a competition for Olympic gold? Not many would, and not many did, as it turns out. That was the situation Team USA faced in the 1980 Winter Olympics. It was a tough time for the United States. With hostages in Iran, an energy crisis, and runaway inflation, it looked like the American dream was coming to an end. But no words echoed through the ages like Al Michaels' "Do you believe in miracles?" as Team USA topped the Soviet Union 4-3 in one of the biggest upsets in sports history. That's our list. We hope it made you as proud as it made us. Leave us a comment and tell us your...
That was a really good list. What was your thoughts on it all?
I thought it was really nice how, like you said, Americans always come together to support their people, especially watching the American soccer as well,
Yeah.
the women's playing. And as you mentioned, the men, when they play, stadiums are packed. I think the commentator mentioned that there was 90,000 people
90,000,
there.
yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's crazy. All the way to the rim, the stadium was packed.
Yeah, goodness. But yeah, it was good to see how loving Americans are of their country.
And their people, I would say.
Yeah.
And their flag, even. Guys, thank you so much for the recommendation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're reading the comments, so keep suggesting videos below. For now, peace out.
Bye.